There are those that question why a man such as myself, a man who treasures his privacy, would willingly subject himself to the public eye. I question the man who wouldn't step forward when his city, his heart, is in such a time of need.
Now, welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and Reese's Pieces in between. We live in an age of transparency and fluidity that both take part of the information that's profoundly private that we're able to access someone else at any given moment in time to the actual measure in which we're scaled by. Because if you're not defined by something, then you might as well kind of be nothing. And there was a quote here from someone that wasn't very highly loved, but this quote now means way more than it ever did. And he said, if you win, you don't need to explain anything. And if you lose, well, then there's nothing to explain. Now, that quote was by Adolf Hitler, and although fucking very hated, and even though the other half that love and adore him think he was a great and wise man, he was at the very least a man with purpose and on a mission. And I think that's what kind of creates something that's gonna remain and keep relevancy in whatever matter that is. And by him mentioning that, by it meaning so much to have to give explanation to, it kind of makes me think of like when you see people stunting online. And when I say stunting, I'm meaning if not just blatantly showing off some sort of expensive product, then more or less it's just them saying, look at me, look what I'm doing, I'm fucking very happy. And although that's fucking very good, that's kind of time consuming, and actually having to take the time to be able to show that so other fuckers can know this, because it's none of the goddamn business. And unless you're trying to, let's say, share that with your significant other because they directly need to know this information, that's one thing. And if they share it and they repost it, then I guess that's another thing. But when you're just giving it for the masses to consume, to whether it's keeping up with an image or just to give a facade about yourself, it creates something to have to uphold and something to have to maintain. And anything like that, whether it's a motherfucking swimming pool or just something that stands in general, it's gonna have to need its maintenance. And I feel like that's just what becomes the biggest bitch and the biggest just burden. And you can relate that to kids, you can relate that to a relationship, you can relate that to just having to be, because you gotta keep yourself up, you gotta fix yourself up, you gotta be able to at least be well oiled so you can be the proper machine that gives and gives and gives to a society that is really given up to another higher being that is definitely enjoying themselves way more than you. And it's kind of a terrible thing, I would think. Just a scotch. No, it's kind of a little bit too much for an opening monologue, but let's just all get on the same page. So let's say equality, because we're going to have a female president and also we're going to all be in the same page, and, we're going to show that women can do it too. Now, BBC actually reported that women actually already nearing equality without even having to have Hillary. So if there's any way to stop that, that'd be great, but we fucking know what's going to happen. But now this male equality is actually in alcohol consumption. And there's some kind of analysis of like over 4 million people just kind of showing the likelihood of how men would drink and how now women drink, which can be seen as, okay, girls are badass too, but that doesn't necessarily mean these bitches are taking shots and, speaking theory. No, it's more than likely means it's a bitch that's stuck at home, whether it's drinking her wine, which, baby, I ain't mad at you if you are, because I want my woman to be wined and comfortable and hopefully have the house fucking clean so when daddy gets home, he can have his dick sucked and he can do the damn thing and leave you in peace while he goes and, lives online, whether it be a podcast or video games. But that's getting off subject. Now, with another realm of drinking is gonna probably be a bitch taking shots. You know what I'm saying? Trying to shake her worries away, trying to live in the now and to be her and to suck as many dicks as she wants to because she isn't confined to just one, or it's because she has a wide spade of loneliness. I mean, a void of loneliness that's just very hard to fill. Unlike a vagina that can have a cock and so on, she's satisfied for the moment, but you're nearing these things, and it just made me laugh when I fucking read this thing because I'm like, oh, okay, well, good for you, bitches, good for you. Although this article was also linked with just having, heart failure and just all the things that kind of happened with their body, and that's kind of why I mentioned the matter of just of upkeep. And I know me myself, I've been fucking paddling, I've been growing, and I'm fat. And if you notice, you ain't been seeing me because I don't want you to. I feel hideous. And it's so funny that even upon other programs, there was just talks about how now men kind of being bitch-like, and I don't want to say that I'm bitch-like, but I can't help that there is this characteristic in my mind, and I don't know how this gets, put into the realm of how the masses, they want to compete with these more beautiful beings. And it's not even like I myself, in comparing to having to keep up with your Zac Efrons or your, I don't know, James Dean wasn't necessarily oh yeah, we'll throw him in there, just any kind of whatever your beauty is. And I know the Johnny Depps of the world are up there. Chris Pratt, who should be fucking by far the clearest definition of you being able to change, just the strictness in which it takes to be able to do that. And I mean, no creamer with my coffee, no bread with my PB and jelly. Like, come on now, but you gotta make your sacrifices, no doubt. And you know what? Alcohol has never really been my thing. As much as I like to say, I was at a rager, and actually, you know what? I mean, I guess I had my little back in the day things of drinking, but I'm at the point now where, nigga, I get headaches. That shit is not fun. I don't know why the fuck anybody would do that after getting that. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, the one thing of maintaining in the other highs, you gotta keep consuming in order to kind of stay up. And I mean, I guess at least with weed, you can keep maintaining and keep going up, and eventually the crash is just gonna be a fucking either a nap or a really good fucking sleep, in which case you really can't go on without either of those, so that doesn't really ring a problem. But once again, that's a conversation for another day. Go equality. Now, in the same realm, though, of equality and, just kind of roles somewhat being reversed, I always remember, and I always got mad because my mom was quite the cunt, and it didn't help that my daddy was a hoe, but I remember my mama would always be smashing my daddy's things every time he got caught up cheating or, maybe slipping out of a bitch's house, red-handed, like, Mama, why you gotta make a scene out of things? But I always remember just constant destruction by in that regard, and we never could have nice shit because my old man always had to replace it. Now, does that give him an out for being a dirty dog? Well, not necessarily, but his actions weren't costing us having to come out of pocket to replace things that we already had. We could have so much more if we didn't have to replace shit. Now, whether or not that sounded selfish, mind you, that was a 12-year-old thinking there, but even looking back at it, it's kind of what I agree with. And mind you, I was not giving a no to either side, but God damn it, Mama, why you gotta be breaking shit? Now, nowadays, it almost seems like it's the man who's gonna see the woman, creeping or cheating and make a fucking scene out of shit. Now, mind you, does it fucking hurt? Well, yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, have I been cheated on? Well, as far as I know, it was once, but the bitch was already a hoe, so I didn't even take it all that much into account. So, what the fuck can I say? But now now just looking back and mind you, I mean, she ain't gonna fucking listen to this shit. This bitch actually hated when I spoke. Out of all things, and most bitches that have been with me, who have got with me, that have been in a relationship with me, or just even a piping down, they spoke to me because they loved hearing me talk. Now, it's not like I have the most luxurious voice, and God bless them for thinking so, and those that still do, but that was, I felt like my one gift that, God gave me was my voice, and I had to use it to be able to speak to the masses, or to be able to bring down some panties in His name, Yahweh. But how can you not like the one thing that I'm most proud of. And I'm not too sure if that was her way to try to level my playing fields, but this bitch would just get mad when I spoke. And I've talked about her a shitload before. She was the Puerto Rican whore that really rocked my fucking world and makes me think of a Michael Jackson song. But you know what? I hate Michael Jackson, so fuck him and fuck you, my dear. I'm so sorry. But what I'm trying to talk about right now was a man who smashed his ex-girlfriend's vibrator after getting jealous over it. And this motherfucker's from the UK. Actually, no, this shit happened in the UK, even though he's from Canada. And I guess he was just getting his shit because he broke up with his ex-girlfriend. He's leaving. He sees the little bullet vibrator there and just fucking chucks it out the fucking window. And actually reportedly told the cops because there was surveillance footage of this. And for some reason, not to get too sidetracked, there was a lot of surveillance footage of ex-boyfriends either breaking into girls' houses or just having footage of them taking shit, happening to see a dildo and smashing the fuck out of it. Now, I can understand that's competition. I mean, you're talking about an item that either needs to use vibrators or batteries in order to power on, or just the good old-fashioned cranks that's just a big old dick without the rest of the complication and gives you exactly what you need. Now, that in itself already makes you think, well, shit. I mean, a man, no matter, how long it can go for, the longest I think I've gone to is about 2 hours or some shit. And I've heard of people going 6. I've heard of people going all fucking day with barely a few snack breaks. And I can't do all that shit. But the fact that you can have something that can go unlimitedly, I mean, you can literally fuck someone to death with a goddamn dildo ass tool with a dick. You're gonna need someone to tag someone else in, or once again, you're gonna need a healthy break. And the fact that these guys would get mad at this shit, break this shit, once again, I get mad because I just think to myself, like, nigga, like, that was her toy, whether you bought it for her or not. Like, let it do what it does. And why are you gonna get mad about yourself? Thinking about how that wedged its way into relationship, because more than likely it's their shitty attitude or maybe a bitch's wholeness. I mean, who knows what the fuck the reasons are, and every couple has their own reasons for doing what they do as a couple. I mean, you can't fucking hate on someone's decision. So don't get mad at that, and don't get mad at the inevitable object, however the fuck you say, thing that doesn't live but people use. Because once again, it's just a fucking item. It's just a material thing. And there's probably deeper issues to have to go with. Actually, I remember an ex, her having quite a collection of toys. And I wasn't intimidated by any means because I didn't fucking use them unless she just really wanted, some double action shit that I myself wasn't wanting to be limber enough for. Because, my nigga be lazy. Sometimes he just wants to get his rocks off. And anyways, of course, when you're hungry, you're going to do what you must, and you're going to be a wolf. And there's a reason why there's that one song, it's some 80s track about being hungry like a wolf, blah, blah, blah.